Okay, so what is your most favorite thing about this career that you have created for yourself in this business?
So my favorite thing is the flexibility. I needed to be able to make money and be here for my children.
Yes, you're right.
That was the most important thing for me. That's why I started it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am so grateful that even though I put in long hours, I can do it while they're at school.
Mm-hmm.
I generally stay up very late working, and but it doesn't take away from me being here, seeing them off in the morning, getting them off of the bus. I still get to be present with them,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm super grateful for that.
And that's a huge thing when you're thinking of a career. You do want to think about, well, what do I want? What kind of hours do I want to work? And if you're, going to be having, a family, how does that fit? You don't want to be gone and missing their things.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and it sounds like, too, you took some interest that you had, because you're creative. And then, do you have any science background? Because because doesn't this involve science in some nature?
It does involve science. I didn't feel like I was sciencey.
Mm-hmm.
However, looking back, I had to adapt and grow that part of myself.
Okay.
And be a researcher and be an experimenter and keep good notes and keep track. Like recently, my sister said, "Hey, I found this thing you gave me a few years ago. I really love it. I use it for my face cream. What is it?" And she brought it to me, and I looked, and I went back through all my notes from like 6 or 7 years ago, and I was able to find the formulation.
Okay.
Because I write down everything that I do,
Mm-hmm.
and I save everything that I do, so that way I can look back or remember something, tweak it. So yes, I've had to hone in my science skills.
Okay. Yeah, because you were a teacher of deaf and blind, you said?
Hard of hearing.
Hard of hearing.
Yes.
So so you didn't go to school to be a scientist.
Exactly.
So you had to, when you decided to switch gears, you had to learn some new skills.
Absolutely.
Out of necessity. What is, so that sounds like some really cool like strengths that you have. What other special strengths, talents do you have? Do you feel that you brought to this job? I can say one by just your dynamic personality that you have.
Thank you.
It's very social, outgoing.
Thank you. I feel like that has been a benefit.
Yeah, because you're a businesswoman.
Right.
Too. You have to market and all that.
100%. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and they said your face is your fortune.
Right. Okay.
So I've been on social media since the dark ages when it was first new.
Right.
And I'm comfortable talking to people. I'm comfortable interacting socially, in social media and then in person. And I think that that's what draws people in. There's people that I do events, and people that just sit there at their booth and don't talk to people, aren't engaging with people, they don't sell anything. It's when I'm standing up, I'm ready, people walk by, I say, "Hi, would you like to try some hand cream or hand sanitizer?"
Mm-hmm.
And that makes people stop, and that draws people in, and they're like, "Oh, you're interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your products. How did you get started?" And so I feel like that is an important component to my success.
Well, and there is a lot of pieces to this job.
Yes.
It is not just at home creating a product.
Yes.
So can you tell us about this might be a lot, and we're going to see we're going to see where the production happens in a little bit, but can you tell us maybe a typical, I don't know, day or how something comes from start to finish?
Sure. Absolutely. I will give you an example of lip balm. So I have always loved lip balm. I've always been obsessed with lip balm. Anytime I see a new kind, I'm like, I'm going to buy that and try it. And I would have a scale that I would rate it on. Mm-hmm. This tastes disgusting. It feels good on my lips. This is too greasy, a whole list. And so when I decided I wanted to make it myself, it took about 35 different tries.
That's a lot of tries.
That is. Before I felt like it met my standard of what I wanted. And what I would do is I would take ones that I felt like were good. I would mark them on the bottom, 1 or 2. I would take them to the bus stop when my kids were getting on the bus or getting off the bus, and I would pass them out to everyone there. And I was like, okay, tomorrow, come back and tell me which one you liked better. 1 or 2.
Okay. Cool.
And so I was like testing my market.
Testing the market right in the neighborhood.
Yes,
I like
exactly.
that.
Trying to see what that needs. So then once I had my formulation down, I had to figure out how to make a large amount of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to figure out how to scale my 3 sticks into a greater number of lip balm sticks.
Okay.
Then I had to figure out how I wanted the label to look. I had to figure out then how to sell it and how to sell it to stores
Mm-hmm.
and how to market it, how to get the pictures of it, how to just bring it into production so
Right.
that you are like, oh yeah, this is a great lip balm.
Right.
So it's a lot of steps. It's a lot more involved in being an entrepreneur than I thought. I thought I would make some products, I would take it to a mom-to-mom sale,
Mm-hmm.
the end.
Right.
I had no idea everything that was going to go into it. But it's really fun. And when you're first start out as an entrepreneur, you have to do all the things.
Yeah.
Unless you have funding.
Right.
And I had no funding.
You had no funding.
I had no funding. No, I had to, when I got divorced, I got $2,000 in a savings account,
Okay.
and I used $1,000 of that to start my company. And then I would only spend what I brought in, which
Okay.
at first was not very much.
Not very much. Wow. That's
No.
a lot of bookkeeping to keep track of too.
Yes.
Math skills.
Math skills,
Mhm.
absolutely. I didn't want to go into debt.
Right.
That made me nervous about going into debt for the business. So it was a whole, like my company could have grown faster if I would have had funding.
Mm-hmm.
However, I didn't know what I was doing. Like now if I started a business, I would take a different path that would have led to success sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm grateful for the journey that it took because it allowed me to learn so many things.
And perseverance. This is one skill or one characteristic I'm hearing a lot of. It takes a lot of perseverance.
It does.
Because you might have had some downfalls or some setbacks or maybe
Absolutely.
some negatives along the way.
100%.
Yes? Have you had any? Okay. Yeah.
So many. Like when I was first in the beginning, yeah, I would do all this work to do an event, and like nobody would buy it, and everyone knew my situation. It wasn't high priced. It was like $3 for a handmade lip balm,
Right.
but people were like, no. People didn't want to try it. People would have like negative opinions about this or that or the other thing, and felt very free telling me. So there were so many times when I felt like I could have quit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man, I would have just been, well, forget it. I'm gonna go back and work at, I don't know, a school. Or
Exactly.
something. Right.
And so I had to keep telling myself, like, check in with myself and be like, no, this is it. And so I feel like it's only failure if you stop.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just a bump.
Yeah.
And so I went through a lot of bumps. Like, and normal.
So it wasn't easy. No.
Not one tiny bit. It was not one tiny bit easy. However, it's been good.
Right.
I feel like it's a successful story. And I feel like
absolutely.
I am more happy with the results now, rather than if I would have quit and gone back to teaching. I would have missed out a lot of time with my children.
Yeah.
And that again, like time is my most important thing. Time with them, that's always my goal.
Yeah, and that was, exactly. So you took what your goals, your interests, your heart, what was important to you,
Yes.
and made it work, even if you have some obstacles.
Yes.
Because everybody has obstacles, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So,
And it's only failing if you stop.
right.
So I think there's a lot of times where I felt like this is a failure.
Right.
And I was like, no, I'm not going to stop. It's not a failure. It's just a bump. It's just a bump.
Yeah, so you had your moment. That's what I try to tell kids.
Yes.
Have your moment. This is this is hard. This is, but
Yes.
then you gotta keep moving. You gotta
100%. 100%.
it
So
up.
I had a chat with someone who had been in business similar to mine for years and years, and she was completely discouraging to me.
Okay.
And she was like, oh, I'm quitting my business. I'm going to go do something else, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, scared, like, how's this gonna work for me if she has such a bigger line and she has all these customers and she's quitting, and then I had to tell myself, no, just because that's her path, that's not my path.
That's not your path.
And I'm just gonna keep going.
You chose your own path.
Yes, I chose my own path. And I mean, I have gotten help along the way. I've done like pitch competitions, and I've won money. I've gotten grants. So my hard work and perseverance has been acknowledged and rewarded. And I mean, that's always, of course, super encouraging when other people can see what you're doing and are like, well done.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That would definitely help you kind of keep going. For
100%.
For sure. And then I know, first of all, real quick, how long has Natural Red been in business? I should have asked you this a while back, but
that's okay. I started just over 7 years ago.
7 years. Okay, so it's been 7 years. And you said somewhere when we were talking that you don't do this alone. Like, this is not. So and that your family's very important to you. How have they been involved in this production process company?
Absolutely. So we started out with like my mixer in the kitchen. And then as the company grew, I would have to, and they were all little, They were very little when this started. And so all the products are gluten-free. Our family is not gluten-free. So everything would have to be very carefully, no cross-contamination. Okay. So I would be like, I'm making stuff, stay out of the kitchen. And then when the company grew, the kitchen was headquarters, like during the holiday season, which is like October, November, December. We couldn't eat in the kitchen. Like, we had, our kitchen table was a blanket in the family room. Oh, yeah. And that is what we ate on every single night for months. Okay. Because it was so imperative that nothing have cross-contamination, nothing got anything. So they were good sports about all that. Then they started to want to label. So they would start labeling and putting because a lot of this stuff we hand label. Now we have a machine that puts labels on for some of them, but depending on the shape, we still have to hand label some of them. But so they would help that. Now they're old enough that I have one daughter who writes my blog posts. Okay. I have one of my sons is now he's doing the graphic design for the labels. I have a daughter who fulfills all my online orders, who comes in every day, she looks at what was purchased, she packs the orders, she prints the shipping labels, and gets ready for my other daughter to take them to the post office. Wow. Everybody helps with actually making. They can wipe things. They can, even the younger ones, they can wipe things off, they can put caps on them, they can put the labels on. Yeah. So everyone is involved. And I also have an employee who comes in who I pay to help with production. And, sometimes I have to, when it's a really big thing, I have to call in other people, and I'll have my kid's dad come. And I'm like, please, help with football.
So yeah.
Exactly. I call in my family and say, everybody come and help. So it's a...
Especially during this time of year, I'm sure. Okay. And I did hear you say when we walked in that you have a big event coming up. Yes. Which is this weekend. It is, what is it? November 12th. So it's like the middle of like the time that we're getting ready for the holidays. And we'd like to stop our video in a minute and go down and see where everything is produced, which would be really cool. But what is that a big event? So what is going to happen what day is it? It's Friday. When are you going to the event?
So this event that I'm going to do, that I was telling you about, is the first weekend in December.
Okay, got it. So you have about 3 weeks until this event.
It's only 2.
Oh, only 2.
I was like, I thought it was more, and then I was told yesterday, because the thing is, it's an enormous event. So it's going to take... So Jay, who works with me, is going to leave on Monday. So all my production has to be done, labeled, ready to go on the Monday after Thanksgiving. Okay. And then he is going to drive to Chicago. It will take 2 days to set up, Tuesday and Wednesday. Wow. To set up our booth. And then me and my oldest daughter, are driving out on Wednesday. And so we will sell stuff on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's nonstop. We did this show in 2019. It will be busier this time because our location is better.
Okay.
So we sold thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars during those 4 days. And so I have to make sure I have enough product to sell.
Yes.
And so
because they buy it right then and there. You're not shipping.
Yeah, no. And so we have to have like bags. We have to have I'll make sure everything is there ready, because obviously we can't just like run home and grab something if we forget it.
It's in Chicago.
So we have to have plenty of like business cards, of sample sticks, of everything that we might need. We have to have there. So it is exhausting. It is from the morning until night. When you are done, you don't want to stand up, you don't want to talk, you only want to sleep.
Right.
Like, it's extremely draining. However, it is incredibly worth it, because from that show that I did like 2 years ago, I have gotten so many like loyal online customers.
Okay.
So it's very to be able to go and do events
in person
is a blessing,
people.
because people can try the product right there and they're like, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Where I can't give them that same experience online.
Right. So then you've got to do kind of both almost, and that creates the online, because that's how I started using the products at a show at Weber Elementary School, and then now I don't need to go to all the shows. I know what I like, so I buy online, or I walk over. Well, not totally walk. I could try, not that close, but I could. But anyway, all right. Hold on. Who are we? Pierce and Mason Middle School. We will be right back in a minute. We're gonna head down to the production area. See you in a minute.